People think revenge is loud. It is not. It does not arrive with broken glass or raised voices. It does not knock down doors. It does not need witnesses. Sometimes it is paperwork. Sometimes it is silence. Sometimes it is simply waiting, long enough for something weak to collapse under its own weight. When I was a child, our house learned to love selectively. It was never announced. There were no family meetings, no declarations. It existed in small, quiet decisions. The better portion of food placed gently on her plate. The extra blanket folded at the end of her bed. The way my father's face softened when she walked into a room and remained unchanged when I did. My sister was hope. I was tolerance. Her report cards were framed and displayed for guests. Mine were folded once, twice, and placed into drawers that rarely opened again. When relatives visited, she was asked to sing, to recite, to smile. I was asked to fetch tea. They did not hate me. Hate requires emotion. I was simply unnecessary. The factory was the center of everything, a textile business built by my grandfather. It smelled of oil and cotton and hot iron. The machines were old, stubborn things that rattled all day and fell silent at dusk. Workers treated my father with reverence. The factory was not just an income. It was identity. My sister grew up inside the office, spinning in the chair, pretending to sign contracts. My father would laugh and say, "The future of this place." I grew up on the steps outside, listening to the machines hum through the walls. The day they asked me to leave, it was done politely. "You are not suited for this environment," my father said. "You lack discipline." My mother did not argue. My sister did not speak. I packed one bag. I remember looking at the office window, waiting, expecting, believing someone would call my name. No one did. There is a particular kind of silence that follows rejection. It is heavier than shouting. The city did not love me either, but it was honest. It demanded usefulness, no more, no less. I carried boxes, cleaned warehouses, slept in bus terminals. Learned quickly that money does not belong to the smartest person in the room. It belongs to the most patient. I watched how suppliers operated. I noticed which factories relied entirely on one distributor. I learned about credit cycles, debt pressure, and seasonal vulnerability. Anger sharpened my focus. I started small, buying leftover textile scraps from closing businesses, reselling them to smaller vendors. The margins were thin, but they were steady. Steady is enough when you have nothing. Years passed quietly. I built a trading company, then a logistics firm, then distribution agreements. I learned that if you control supply, you control survival. Control is quieter than power. One evening, reviewing supplier networks, I saw a familiar name. Our factory. Still operating, still outdated, still depending heavily on a single dye supplier. I now had the capital to acquire the same supplier. I did not hesitate. First, I bought minority shares in the companies that fed the factory. Then I adjusted pricing. Nothing extreme, just small movements, increased rates, shortened credit terms, standard business practice. The factory's margins tightened. Then I offered a loan. "We are family," I said. My father accepted. Interest accumulated. Payment deadlines shrank. Buyers received better offers from my network. Cheaper, faster, cleaner logistics. They began losing contracts. The machines ran less frequently. Workers were paid late. The collapse was not dramatic. It was exhaustion. I watched it through quarterly reports, through spreadsheets, through projections that showed decline like a slow, predictable illness. Eventually, the bank demanded repayment. The factory closed. I expected satisfaction. Instead, I felt quiet. I visited weeks later. The gates were half open. Weeds had begun growing through cracks in the pavement. Inside, dust coated the machines. And there she was, standing in the center of the floor, not crying, not hysterical, thinking. "What are you doing here?" she asked. "I came to see," I said. "You have seen," she replied. "You can leave." I assumed she would liquidate assets, sell the land, move on. She did not. She sold her jewelry, paid the electricity bill, called former clients personally, not the big ones, those were gone. Smaller shops, local schools, independent retailers who remembered the old name. "Give me small orders," she said. "Anything." The factory reopened, barely. 3 machines worked, 9 stood silent. Repairs were too expensive. She learned to fix minor breakdowns herself. Videos played on her cracked phone while she replaced belts and tightened bolts. Workers returned slowly, not because the pay was strong, it was not, but because she had grown up beside them. She paid them in installments when necessary, never skipped completely. Some months the factory made a small profit. Some months it survived by inches. During monsoon season, water leaked through the roof and ruined fabric stock. She absorbed the loss, quietly. She refused investors. "It will stay ours," she said. Ours. The word did not include me. Years passed. My company expanded internationally. New offices, new contracts, awards, interviews, articles describing my strategy as ruthless, efficient, visionary. Meanwhile, her factory remained fragile. One broken machine could halt production for days. One delayed payment could threaten salaries. She lived inside constant arithmetic. I visited during a power outage. The building was dim. Workers sat in silence, waiting for electricity. She stood outside, arguing with the utility office on the phone. Her voice was tired, but steady. When she saw me, she did not smile. "You came to buy what is left?" she asked. "No." "Then why?" I had no answer. "I could fix this," I said finally. "New machines, capital, modern systems." "And own it?" she asked. "Yes." She shook her head. "It is barely alive," she said. "But it is alive." No heroism, no drama, just stubborn fact. I had destroyed the structure, but not the will. Revenge dismantled the building. It did not erase her. She asked for one thing. "One of the workers needs a loan for his daughter's surgery," she said. "The bank will approve it if someone guarantees it." Not for the factory, for a worker. I signed, not out of generosity, out of fear. Fear of confirming that I had become only the sum of my ambition. The factory continues like that, unstable, underfunded, persistent. It will never dominate markets. It will never rival my companies. It survives order to order, month to month. Sometimes I drive past at night. 1 or 2 windows glow faintly. Inside, a single machine hums. Not loudly, not triumphantly. Just enough to say, I am still here. People ask if I regret what I did. Regret is not simple. I built power. I built security. I built something no one can take from me. But I did not build peace. Sometimes I remember being a boy on those factory steps, listening to the machines, believing one day they might belong to me too. They never did. They belong to her now. Not because she won. Not because she defeated me. Because she endured. Revenge is efficient. Survival is stubborn. She chose stubborn. And that, more than my empire, refuses to disappear.